So for a lot of our views, we are going to have MVC generate them, but I do think it's helpful for you guys to generate your own because that just helps you learn it better. So we are going to be generating our own, and we're going to be using display name 4 and display 4. So it's going to be a strongly typed HTML helper that we're using for the labels and for the data that's coming from the database. And probably the easiest one for us to do is a display view. So we're going to open up our student controller, and we'll put this right below the index. And so this is going to be an action result. And we're just calling it display. And let me stop this from running because it does not like it when I change controllers when it's running. And you can see that we're sending a student listing to the view. So database.students.toList is going to take the students that we have in our student database and pass that on to the display. Okay, so let me save this, and now I'm going to create a view. And display is fine. We are not going to use the model because we are going to be manually typing those codes. So we're going to go ahead and click add. Now we are going to be using strongly typed helpers. So we do want to connect this to the model. And we are bringing in a listing. And we are bringing in our Contasso University models, and in particular, the student model. And we do not need this razor code, so let's get rid of it. And we're going to call it student display. And we're going to create a table here because tables work pretty well for displays. Okay, and we're using that bootstrap class of table to help us format. And we're going to have 3 columns. So this first row is for headings. So we're adding our TH tags. And we're going to use our little helpers here. And because these are going to be headings in a table, everything in this row is going to be display name 4. And then our lambda is the model.last name. And what I'm going to do is copy, copy all of that. Paste it twice. And I'm going to change last name to first mid name. And then I'm going to change last name to enrollment date. So that's our first row. And we are going to include kind of an empty column here. And that would be for a link that we can add later. And then below our TR, when we get into the detail lines in our table, this is where we have to access the list. Okay, so we had a list of student data passed from the controller. So we're going to use for each so we can iterate through each item or row in that list. And so we want each item in our model. And so when we are doing the lambda and we are connecting to the model, we will use item dot and then the property name. So we have our for each and opening and closing curly braces. Okay, and then in between here, this is where we need our row. And then within each row, we're going to have 3 columns. Okay, and these are table detail lines. And so what we want to use here is at html.display4 so that it pulls from the data itself and displays actual data. Then we're going to do our lambda here. Okay, so that's 1 column. And we said we needed 3. So basically we need one for last name, first name, and enrollment date, right? So let's copy. We'll paste a couple times. And then we're going to change last name to first, mid name, and enrollment date. Okay, then we've got our closing table. So at this point, let's save it. We should be able to run this thing. Oh, I got university in there twice somehow. Definitely didn't want that. Okay, let me save this. All right, now it looks better. And let me do a build. It's a little weird. Oops, there's one thing I forgot here. I forgot that extra little column on the end. So let me save it again. And what we can do after we learn about validation is we can add little action links here to the end. And let's run this. And if it tries going directly to this view, which is what it's doing, I am going to get an error. So let me change this. Okay, so I haven't added it up here and it's not over here. So what I have to do is enter display. And so this is the one that I just created.